In the Power of Praetors, we look at the powers of all 5 Phyrexian leaders. Today, we look at one that isn't even really a leader at all. He hunts, he kills, that's it. He does influence the creatures around him to become apex predators like him. He lets his allies alter these creatures so that they can become more worthy prey. He makes sure that there is enough danger for weakness to become extinct, and he will eventually eradicate all sentience in favor of pure instinct. To repeat the concept of this series, all the Praetor's powers are based around their influence. But with Vorinclex, it is also his brute strength that makes him a force. He's a 7/6 or 6/6 with trample. Other than that, he strengthens your lands. They tap for an extra mana because Vorinclex makes your forest fertile. Not because the flowers bloom so beautifully, but because the ground gets fed with blood and death from his excessive hunting. Other than that, the creatures of his lands are forced to become ever fiercer, larger, harder, better, faster, stronger. His second ability straight up calls you weak, because whoever is weak will lose the use over their lands. It takes longer for them to recover because Vorinclex's poison and spores make sure that the weak can't live for long. He even cultivates mushrooms that make it impossible for the weak to breathe in air. Vorinclex lives in the Tangle. This is an artificial forest because real life is rather new to this world. Though the forest has started to take on more and more natural life now, as that was just evolutionary advantageous. In the Tangle there is one law, the law of the strongest. The Soul Eater cycle shows us what the drones of phyrexia are thankful for. With Vorinclex's swarm, this is the fact that the Eaters eat the weak. Weakness is even stated here as a sickness. This is not out of hate for sickness, but out of love for strength. Vorinclex has a bit of a weird relationship with artifice. The thing is that his green nature makes him hate artifacts and society and anything that requires thought. But Urabrask has shown him that artifacts can be big and dumb too. This made Vorinclex change his mind, which is impressive. And now Vorinclex allows robots as long as they are big and dumb. Of course, all Phyrexians don't mind metal, but Vorinclex just doubted their ability to evolve, which brings strength as well. Know with all Praetors, but especially with Vorinclex, that their identity is always a caricature. Strength is all that Vorinclex cares about. And this was the case for the Elves of Mirrodin as well in a smaller extent. As we've seen before, the creatures under a color's influence have comparable philosophies with the Praetors that replace them. I will come back to the Green Sun and its story later, but let's talk a bit more about Phyrexia's green color. When Phyrexia reared its head, the land awakened and formed into these Dominae. They are manifestations of Phyrexian oil mixed with the mana of the land. Green's Dominus bears old Vorinclex's name, hunger. This is because they bring famine, and this lack of food sources then forces the other creatures to fight more. Thus, they evolve faster. This is something Vorinclex loves, so I see him siding with the dominance of his color very well. There used to be only 4 moons on Mirrodin, but Glissa's Sunseeker eventually found the last one and freed it from the earth. This is why we see the beacon of creation coming out of the ground. Before this, Mirrodin was not influenced by green mana as much. This made the Tangle a place of 90% artifice and almost no nature. This is now a more even spread. But at the moment the green sun rose again, life returned to Mirrodin in semi-full. The green sun does one thing. It brings about one more strong creature every time it crests. It brings strength to the creatures and trees of the land, and it makes you feel in tune with nature and your instincts. Even though most Twilights twist the abilities of their sons, the green one stays weirdly the same. It gets you another creature and this time also a land. With enough mana and influence, Vorinclex will get that creature onto the battlefield, making this feel even more feral. Weirdly, the Zenith did this already and it let you search your library as well, but green didn't need this anyways. Like with all Praetors, we look at the weak humans that came before them. In Green's case, the Silvok. These people are hardened by their environment and already appreciate hardy growth. When they started to love artifice more, they saw it as a different manner in which you could nurture nature. Vorinclex used to hate this nurturing until he learned that it could help creatures become stronger. Before that, he has way different than other predators because he was so set on letting nature do its things. He had no plan, he would let the oil do its own work as long as it would evolve his creatures into worthy predators. Now the oil that Vorinclex lets around his lands is unique. It strengthens creatures unlike Shieldred's that just weakens everyone around her. It makes them fall in love with a feeling they call the hunt, and this is all very convenient to Vorinclex. I doubt that he had much of a hand in his own oil though. Vorinclex is in a bit of a rivalry with Jin and his progress engine, because Vorinclex believes we should not alter creatures that much. They may change, but we don't have to create new life. He and his swarm often enable creatures to stay close to their own nature. It's not that he wants just T-Rexes in his domain, because multiple beasts can have their own place in the food chain, as we see here. A huge beast that seems not even to be carnivorous. This can have a place too in being a strong creature that can survive the predators around it. In fact, Vorinclex hates all plants and all care, so if an agent of another faction would enter the tangle, he will not stop his roots or creatures from eating them. In his domain, again, strength is the only law, so if you cannot defend yourself, it does not matter who your master is, even if it is Elishnorn. Vorinclex will let you be eaten. One interesting creature type in the swarm is the elf. These were creatures that tried to cultivate trees and that wanted to be one with nature. Vorinclex dislikes nurturing anything, but these elves are a bit different. They showed him that by nurturing trees they can become stronger. In this case, the aspirants even tend to become literally one with the creatures by allowing poisonous flowers to root in their flesh and weave tendrils through their hair, so that they become one stronger tree-like elf creature. It is definitely well camouflaged. Glissa, who found the Green Sun and later became Vorinclex's champion, has been helping him with turning the elves to their cause. So she could appeal well to the elves' need to be one with nature, and has been showing other elves the right way to completion through making them one with a literal tree. I wonder how many of these trees were once elves. Vorin's new card shows us him on Kaldheim, where he would perfectly thrive hunting all their strong monsters. His card here shows us his strength of helping evolution and keeping the growth of weaker lines down. Your creatures get double their counters while your opponents get none. Also note that he also doubles toxic counters now, which is of course flavorful. All Phyrexians love the mirror. Vorinclex loves them just because they eat stuff that is like them, and Vorinclex is a bit of a cannibal as well. Of course, don't forget to eat that subscribe button. A part of Vorinclex's agenda, if you can call it that, is to weaken the lands. Because if there's less food, creatures will fight more. One way to do this is by making creatures ever larger, so that they need to consume more food. We see that perfectly in this beast that's not even that strong, it just exists to eat a lot. I find it interesting to look at the sleeper agents on Dominaria because they got to keep a lot of their identity. But it was just changed by the oil. So this elf that should love nature and would never waste a living creature got completed, and now she seemingly wants to hunt for the fun of it as well. This shows us that Vorin's need for hunting is universal among all green Phyrexians. It seems like green has changed a lot with the coming of Vorinclex and the vicious swarm. There used to be fruits that would aid the Silvok druids because the trees knew that they couldn't survive without them. This is something so far from Vorinclex's philosophy that I wonder where this part of him went, and I don't know the answer yet. The second most fun power of Vorinclex is this ability to instill instinct. This comes from Green's need to lose knowledge of secrets. The elves had to be unaware of the secrets of their world in order to defend the old order of the forest. So they relied on their collective instinct, the things that they thought they knew all along. Apart from that, the elves knew that nothing on their world should be contained. All should be free, because all should be how they were meant to be. In this way, we see Glissa release magic from an artifact here. I get why the rebels say that the vicious swarm is without strategy and politics, but this is actually not true. The amount of tactics that the swarm uses is huge, because they need tactics in order to hunt well. The centaurs that Vorinclex uses, for example, are able to almost complete any being with a swing of their weapon, and yet they're strong enough to take on 3 rebels at once. You might not call this a strategy, but who needs that when you have so much brute strength? In essence, Vorinclex has been preparing for war forever by making his creatures stronger and stronger. Even if he doesn't think of the strategy, he still performs it. For the politics part, he uses those too. Not on purpose, but whoever is around the tangle, its oil, or around Vorinclex, starts to feel the thrill of the hunt. So even when one of Norn's singers enters Vorin's domain, he turned to hunt and could never return to the quiet of the Basilica. Vorinclex doesn't use politics because he doesn't need to. The thrill of the hunt is enough to persuade. Any creature's instinct will instantly side with Vorinclex. Every one of the 5 factions of Phyrexia steals minions from one other faction. Vorinclex steals from Urabrask. This is because his creatures like to be free, and Vorinclex allows you to be free as long as you survive. So this scrap gorger from Urabrask steals swords as if it works in the engine. We even see the red sun behind him, but he's all about plowing through his food first. Urabrask's domain is interestingly alluring to Vorinclex's creature too. This is because it holds so many weak parts to be eaten. So the basilisks from Vorinclex come to the quiet furnace sometimes for their warm forges and tasty goblins. Urabrask and Vorinclex are a cute couple. Vorin has been quoted before saying how he appreciates Urabrask's machines, because they look like predators. Glissa is seen going against their bromance because Urabrask doesn't think big enough. But while Vorin loves big creatures, he doesn't like thinking. So they can stay friends. This is my favorite one of Vorinclex's powers. Gaia had been stalking Vorinclex, but he seemed to disappear out of nowhere, every time. Meanwhile, she found caves with huge scratch marks and many skeletons that seemed to show what she was dealing with. Meanwhile, we were left to wonder who contracted her with this assassination mission. What other agent is there out there in the multiverse? The reason behind Klex just disappearing out of nowhere while he is a huge beast is because he can turn into any creature he touches and become a mega optimized predatorial form of that being. The creature you see Vorin imitating in this art is just a deer. You can see the antlers and a bit of the fur, but other than that this looks more like a boar mixed with a wolf that runs on his hind legs with 2 extra T-Rex arms than it looks like a deer. And that's what makes this power so wonderful and fun to think about. Vor's hobby is to change creatures so that they're more unique hunters. He doesn't always make them better, but he does change them so that they have their own role in the food chain. If 2 creatures do the same, one should die. In the case of this slagworm, having teeth wasn't unique enough. A predator that could move on right after eating would be a great addition to the ecosystem. We used to have a worm as a great altered predator, but after centuries of evolution we went back to the dinosaurs. Vori made a Tyrannex robot dinosaur, which is about the coolest canon thing you've seen up to this point. These Tyrannex are fastest, largest, deadliest, venomousest, and the most adaptive. They're true free fighters as they don't need a limit for themselves. They essentially tell you to be yourself. How beautiful is that? A bit less beautiful perhaps, but I wanted to note that Vori also uses random mouths everywhere, which doesn't seem useful, but it might be. Evolution needs a bit of randomness, and that's why I ship Vori and Urubrask. See, I got a critique on starting my video with the word mommy, but I can do it at the end, right? But this isn't the end, we're nearing the strongest part of the swarm. First, one more power, which is using poison. Vorinclex uses it in two ways. He dislikes flyers, as any green creature does, because he can't bite into them. So he uses poison rain to kill the birds. The second use is to kill people on the ground. Yes, but also to turn others into proper phyrexia predators. You can kill one of the massive beasts, but you need a lot of people to do so, and then they will all be turned. This is evolution too, because only the people who kill or tame such a creature will be turned into new phyrexians. The rest will just be eaten. My finale. The allies of Vorinclex. Of course, to start with Glissa the trader. She's the woman behind Vori's success. She changes his creatures by giving them bronze blades, new teeth, new claws, larger bodies, slightly more metal. This is also why you see her returning artifacts. Every creature that dies from an opponent will be a part she puts onto other creatures to make them stronger. This is also why she flavorfully is a zombie. It's more because she went through death a few times in order to become stronger, and she wishes this faith to every other being. Glissa used to belong to the other elves before Vorinclex took her, but she was sent by Karn, who seems to only know how to destroy everything he loves, to destroy Karn's own son, because Karn's son had been corrupted by the Phyrexian oil Karn dropped on his own created world. Glissa succeeded, but she came too close to the oil so that she would later very easily be corrupted by Vorinclex. The other elves condemned this, but they already were against her. They'd been told that Glissa had sent levelers, huge plowing machines, to destroy their villages. Glissa would later forgive them once she was completed, because she saw that they just didn't know the right path. Now she accepts the elves as members of the swarm so that they can become trees. See, full circle. Why Glissa has slain a son, as this card suggests, is unknown, but it seems to me like the 5 sons are still in the air, so this might not be true. But maybe this is to be revealed. Her name used to always say a lot. She has gotten a new dress and has donned a lot more bronze. I don't know how this helps her hunt at all, but she also has more light green. That's what new. Otherwise, her new card is rather uninspiring for me for now. But let's look at the real card then. Triumph of the Hordes. We all know it as the card that makes us really afraid of the Phyrexians, and it is Glissa standing and ordering her creatures to attack in the art. Now you might wonder what these creatures are, and the answer is we don't know. Except for the fact that these are the creatures that Glissa altered to be unknown monstrosities with very efficient hunting tactics and weapons that might just kill you in one turn. Might happen. Luca is a new recruit to the swarm. He thought he could tame one of Vorinclex's creatures. I find it hard to believe that he actually could do this or believed he could do this, so I devised a new theory. Maybe Luca was so in tune with nature and his hunting instincts that the effects of the tangle would get to him faster than with anyone else. So within a few seconds he made this choice to link himself to a tree climbing centaur. What you see here, by the way, is another creature, not the centaur Luca first bonded with, so the metal link that he makes with this creature can be reattached, much like with the Avatar movies. And that was it for today. I want to thank you for watching, and I have one fun question left for you. Vorinclex became a deer before, but what would you love to see him as next?